Hello. I'd like to talk a little bit about the difference that I've discovered in my life of having studied many different spiritual paths and what I've chosen, what I found is suitable to me, and why I created Ethicalism and the differences between Ethicalism or spiritual schools, teachers, and such. Things like Kabbalah or Sufi or Zen or Tibetan Buddhism, Himalayan Buddhism, lots of these teachings that are old, ancient, valid, very good, valid, but very complex. The literally hundreds of thousands of angels and things you'd need to remember in the Kabbalistic teachings. For instance, your left pinky's fingernail has a particular angel. The first joint of your left pinky versus your right pinky, the fingernail, the joints, everything, each hair, everything in your body has another angel. And part of the teaching is to learn and remember these names and these angels and so on. Very complex. In Tibetan Buddhism, there's so many gods and demons and all kinds of different things to remember. Hinduism, tens of thousands of gods exist. Very complex teachings, very valid, very good. But I found that people who devote their lives in monasteries and schools, studying, lovely people, they may learn a lot, and it's thrilling to learn these things. Very exhilarating, very exciting, gives a lot of purpose. But I'm not finding in my decades of searching and going in different schools that internally these people have generally, people have changed enough in a basic foundation of what I think most humans are looking for, which is equanimity, balance. And that's basically the question. Is following this path, whatever path it is you choose, giving you a state of balance, of equanimity? Do you still get angry? Do you still lose your temper? Do you still freak out over little things? Do you still get very lost and confused and off balance? Do you yell and have arguments and then regret what you said because you lost control of yourself? Do these things ever still happen? Or conversely, are you completely emotionally contained, holding it in? Because, a spiritual person doesn't do those sort of things. Spiritual person is very calm, is very composed, doesn't lose their temper. But you're a volcano exploding inside just for the right moment to set you off. That's the test, if your path is right or not. I think. To say I want to learn how to levitate or move objects or talk to the angels, even though they may not talk back and I may not hear them or see them, but they're listening to me. I believe, I have faith. Okay, but is it giving you what you want? Is it giving you this quality of life, of true contentment, true balance, where you can be very passionate, filled with life, filled with emotion, love, joy, everything, and anger when it's necessary to motivate you or to motivate someone else, to find injustices absolutely unacceptable and motivate you to make change, to defend the weak, and so on? Or are your emotional expressions somewhat inappropriate, out of place? How do you sleep at night? Are you fulfilled in your life? Are you happy with yourself? This is the difference that I found. So I no longer continue to search to develop psychic abilities or things like that. My faith in God and the angels is unshakable. I can see every day evidence of the reality of a world beyond the material realm. There's no question about it. But am I devoting myself to practices or a path to which I theoretically may get in unity with angelic beings? Or, as I chose, to become completely emotionally balanced and free, to be a whole person, impervious. Or, as the analogy I've created, and there's another little video about that, is being like a cloud, such that you can be anything and you're there and a jet can fly through you, but you're unaffected. But yet your beauty as a white puffy cloud in a blue sky, or your power as a dark storm, a typhoon, still is the same. And whether you're the white puffy cloud or the dark stormy cloud, this plane can still fly through you. And in either case, you are not affected in any way. You maintain what you wish to be at that moment. So that's the idea, the difference, and what I made ethicalism to fit, to serve, the purpose to serve, so that we can attain that balance. Because my reasoning is, if you are emotionally unhappy, uncomfortable, low self-esteem, whatever, things in your life are no good, you're not perfect, you're not balanced, you can't meditate. You can pretend you're meditating. You can sit still for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, not move, keep your mental focus. But is that really meditating? Is that really giving you anything? However, if you've attained this state of equanimity, this state of true emotional freedom, which brings with it a deep inner peace, contentment, now you can meditate. Now your mind may open to things beyond this world. But by studying about books and knowledge and getting information about the angels and the this thing and the that thing, and the different worlds and the different realms and all of these things, that information, is it really changing you? And so I chose to stop spending my life devoted to those studies. Of course, knowledge still remains, but instead of pursuing that further and further and further, I found that altering my being, not only is it better for me, but it is certainly better for everybody I interact with, be it the server, the waiter in the restaurant, or the on an airplane, the flight attendant on an airplane. You can imagine that job if you're with these paranoid, freaking out, crazy passengers locked on an airplane for a 14-hour flight. Or you're with someone who's just happy, smiling, content, peaceful, no matter what's going on. So I thought, you know what? It doesn't matter as much where I end up, although of course it does. But what really matters is the effects I have on other people and how I feel about myself. And as I say, I found that in developing this state, the potential for a spiritual growth is increased. The differences are, if you pursue a life of study of spiritual things, you'll learn a lot, it's exciting, exhilarating, and so on, but where do you end up? What have you done with your life? You've accumulated a lot of knowledge, information, but what have you become? What have you done? Whereas the life pursued by following the ethics turns me into a person where everybody I've met, their life has changed. Even if it is to turn their bad day into a happy day because of their 5-minute interaction with me, and I make them laugh and they feel good, or you rejuvenate their faith that, there are some decent people in this world, there are some nice people. And you change. How many people do you meet in your life? I mean, randomly. People serving you in a store, or whatever it is. Millions, probably. I don't know, we can work out a calculation. I found that it's better to have a life where I've changed millions of people's lives and, of course, attain that state of peacefulness. So that was the idea behind what I did with my life and why I've created the Ethicalism, so that these ethics, these principles and exercises bring us more in that direction. It's the transformation of who you are rather than the accumulation of more knowledge and information, which may or may not make any difference ultimately in who you are and in your experience of life, other than giving you some purpose or direction or hobby to which gives you great pleasure. However, ethicalism could do that as well. So there's the idea behind it, and the basic premise of, we'd say, almost, although one doesn't contradict the other, because you can certainly study Kabbalah and Sufi and Zen and Buddhism and such, and follow the ethics as well. One doesn't replace the other. I'm just saying, as a difference for a spiritual path, a personal growth path, a life path, which one did I find is more effective in significant change, in a quicker way? Because, as I say, the study of the mysticisms may or may not change you, but ethicalism will change you, and quickly. And so that's the idea, is just a comparison of the paths. You can do both, of course, but explaining to you the difference between ethicalism as your spiritual path versus one of the other mystical paths. And for sure the New Agey stuff I do not have much regard for, even if that's politically incorrect to say. But all my opinions are based on, what have I been out 30 years of traveling to different schools around the world and meeting some of these big name teachers and some of the ancient, the truly wise ones, that have been, like, for instance, in the Zen monastery I was at, this 1100-year-old monastery. The Sufi Derga was almost 450, 500 years in the same house. These are very old schools. So I've met those kinds of masters who have these hundreds of years of tradition and totally devoted. I've met the New Agey ones, many of them. And so my opinions are based on personal experience. And so ethicalism is something that I hope will fit many more people than those schools would fit. It's more versatile. And you know what? What do you have to lose? The best answer. What do you have to lose? Unlike Zen, where there was a great Zen master, and someone said to him, how do I know if Zen is right for me? He says, well, you do it for 10 or 20 years. Then you look back and you see, have you changed or not? Then you know if it's good for you or not. I don't think anybody really wants to give up 10 or 20 years to find out if that was the right direction or not. And so with ethicalism, you have nothing to lose. Just study the ethics, do the exercises, follow it sincerely. If you have any questions, if there's any doubts, send us an email. We'll answer you right away. And, see what happens. And let us know. Maybe you'll tell me that it doesn't work. Maybe you'll tell me, this thing's pretty good. I notice a difference from 6 months ago, who I was, how I react. It'd be nice to hear. All right? So feel free. Any questions, contact us. The idea is, this isn't a business. It's not a church. I don't want your money. I don't want your donations. I don't want anything. I just want to create something that can help people and bring people together, as something that we can share and have more friends and have more companions following a similar path. Something we can talk about, the exercises we can practice together, wherever you are, in any city you are. I live in hotels. I'm traveling all the time. I'll go anywhere. You want me to come and give a talk? You want to come and have a little coffee? No problem. Ask, try, let's organize things and see if there is a way that we can all find that companionship simultaneously to the inner qualities that we would like to have of a truly contented, peaceful, and satisfied life. Good luck.